This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Spyder Grages with the Brutally Delicious Podcast, coming at you with a new album review. Today we have the latest from Edge of Paradise entitled Prophecy, released March 7th across all platforms. Now, Edge of Paradise is a band out of Los Angeles, California, formed in 2011, my fault. And I've actually been a big fan of Edge of Paradise since about 2021. I have their Universe, The Unknown, and Hologram albums. I've seen them live with Dragon Force, War of Steel, and Amaranth, which they were put on an awesome show, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So I was really excited to get this album, and it was nothing short of awesome to me. So Edge of Paradise kind of has two distinct eras in their almost 15-year career. 2011 to 2017, where they were more of a hard rock kind of skate punk band, or I like to call like radio rock, something you would hear on your local radio station. And then in 2017, they added David Ruiz on guitars, and the band really put a theme to it, and they found their futuristic sci-fi industrial kind of style, to which I almost want to call it like space metal or future metal, but I guess industrial is good enough. To which Margarita has even said in interviews she was really drawn to industrial music in her earlier metal journey, where she is a classically trained vocalist and pianist. But with this addition of David Ruiz, they really started hitting their stride and starting getting noticed by bigger labels, and signed with Frontier Records for their Alive EP and then their following 3 albums, with this Prophecy album being released on Napalm Records. Now, industrial sci-fi music with Margarita's voice really makes these guys hypnotizing and really interesting. Margarita has a very unique voice that was best described in a review by Metalholic as something you don't expect, earth-shattering rich tone, pure power and strength. That girl can sing, and she sings with her heart and soul, and I think that's literally what hypnotizes people. And honestly, that's one of my favorite things about these guys is the absolute uniqueness of their sound, and it's a perfect description of them. But let's get into the album Prophecy, and yes, I'll say it right off the rip, I love this album. The sounds are captivating, the riffs are infectious, and like I said, her voice is just hypnotizing. Death Note opens the album, which has been released for a little while, and it sits you right in that sci-fi, post-apocalyptic kind of digital world feel and really sets the album up. Margarita has even said in interviews earlier this week that all of their albums since Universe have sort of a theme to it, and there is kind of a small story in this one in the first few songs, but we get that digital world, a futuristic feel with this. Death Note itself has a real funky bass line, some awesome riffs, and lyrics to match. The edge of existence, a digital fury, digital minds, we are the defiance. Like it's almost setting up a movie, where the robots and AI have taken over, and they're the last stand of humans, and this is the journey that the album is going to take us on. Give It To Me, Mind Assassin was also released this week. It has that same upbeat, groovy kind of feel to it, mixing in some heavy metal riffs along the way. Giving Me Your Mind, I'll redesign it. Imagine You Are Limitless, like she's building her army to fight back. Prophecy Unbound opens with heavy riffs, but mixes in several different tempos throughout the song. Another song that just keeps you captivated with the lyrics, where she's seeing into her virtual void of her mind and trying to see her true potential by merging her heart and her mind and what her true strength really is, and that's unbound. Sad Life of a Rose changes things up, and I want to call this song a ballad, but it really doesn't sound like a ballad in music, so maybe I'll just call it a cyber ballad. She finds a rose that defied everything. It grows where it's not supposed to with no light, symbolization of the resistance and being a sacrifice to the cause. It's a very emotional song. It's very well done, and it's in a great place in the running order to me. And then Rogue Aim for the Kill kind of sets you up that final of the first part of the story of the album. This was also released last year. It's this is the point in the story where they're standing up now and they're ready to attack the overlords and they're ready to kill. They're going for the kill. And the video really kind of plays into the post-apocalyptic world with all sorts of stuff going on. And then you see her standing in front of the digital robot screen. It's just a really cool video to match the song. The Other Side of Fear has a much more digital 80s pop sound, but a metal feel to it. It's a very fun song. I really enjoyed this one. It's one of those songs you can just kind of bounce to a little bit, and it's got a sick guitar solo in it, so there's that. Hear Me then slows things down a little bit more. It's more of a true ballad with Margarita on the piano. Here you really get to hear how powerful her voice is and how good of a singer she really is. It's a very emotional song about finding yourself, being seen, being heard, and probably one of my favorite songs on this album for just how raw it is. Martyr Monster then picks back up the pace with that cyber industrial feel again, but the chorus on this one just the chorus on this one just has heavy bass lines, and it's kind of one of those songs you'd listen to as you want to charge the gates of hell with a squirt gun. And again, it just amps you up. You get that defiance. I'll be the martyr to your monster. I'll take the fall for you. I'm the monster you created, but am I enough for you? It's just an awesome song. Relive Again has a real haunted kind of feel to it. You get that synthesizer in the background with the deep bass line, the deep slow guitars. It just gives a darkness to the song, and it's got some pretty solid guitar solos in it as well. Again, another very emotional song, breaking out of the digital world, living each day, feeling the highs and lows of being able to relive those memories in the memories of afterlife. And then the press release for the final song, Falling Lights, hits the nail just dead on the head. The winding serpentine melodies of Falling Light explode with Monet's venomous soaring vocals dancing around ethereal synth textures, enveloping listeners in a sonic gothic cathedral. And that's really how I feel about this song. Like, I can sit back with my headphones on and I can close my eyes and envision myself in that cyber astro cathedral, watching the stars and the cosmos float around me. Just a real cool song. This album itself, very emotional, very powerful, and I absolutely loved it. The press release reads, Prophecy takes a stand against indifference, encouraging listeners to go outside, cry, and embrace all the uncomfortable parts of life that make us human before apathy driven by addictive algorithms brings about our demise. Can't describe this album any better than that. And as I said earlier, these guys put on an awesome show. So if you haven't seen them live and you want to, they are on tour right now with Delane and Xandria. All three bands I've seen before. They put on an amazing show. So this is a show I'm definitely going to try and find a way to get to, but they're not coming close to me in Florida. But I got to figure out how to get there because I feel like this is a can't miss concert and show. As always, this has been Spyder with the Brutally Delicious Podcast. If you like what you heard, give the Brutally Delicious a follow on social media at Brutally Delicious on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and myself at Grages on Facebook and SpyderG300 on Instagram, and we will catch you next time.
This is Lawrence Lanahan, journalist, musician, and host of Rearranged, an Osiris Media podcast about music arranging. Once a song is written, arrangers make musical decisions that shape how we end up hearing the song. And we're not just talking about adding orchestral accompaniment, like horns and strings, or doing a cover version of a song. Arrangement can be putting happy music over dark lyrics, using samples, recording all acoustic, even tiny decisions like putting an electronic loop into an acoustic song to draw your attention to an important turn of phrase. It's all arranging. Rearranged episodes are documentary essays where I use arrangements to answer some big questions, like what is a song? And what can a song become? And how can the sound of a song change the meaning you take from it? Listening this way has changed my relationship with music. Tune into Rearranged, and maybe it'll happen for you too. Learn more at rearrangedpodcast.com.
Osiris.